Welcome to Life of the Moose. Before I forget, my neighbor just called and said there was a moose and a calf walking down the road towards this property. So I just went out and I looked for it. I didn't see it. That doesn't mean it's not around. The sage is about, 3 feet tall or so now. So even if a full-grown moose decides to bed down, they can find cover in a hurry and disappear. So hopefully I'll see it. And if I see it, I'll let you know. So stay tuned. Aside from a few other little things, I want to get the sealer on this foundation today, at least part of the foundation. It's about 11 o'clock right now, and it's warming up nicely. It's going to be like 65 degrees here today, and I just want this concrete to warm up just a little bit more before I start putting that sealer on. So while this is warming up, let's tackle these columns right there. I was eyeballing this. Can you see that? One column is not perfectly plumb to the other column. They're not lined up perfectly. I can see that with my eye. So let's measure those, plumb them before I forget, because I want to get those at least relatively close. They don't have to be exact. It's not like this has to be to the 32nds of an inch right now, but I at least want to get that close. Oh, and the other bit of news I was going to tell you, we sold the spur cabin. Yes, Karen and I found a buyer a couple of weeks ago. They're from the coast. They're going to be staying there in a couple of weeks from now. So that's a good thing. Well, let's hop right to it, put a level on these things, and see how bad they are. Okay. So there's that bubble. Not on the line, as you can see. That is off. So this bottom has to come out. That's right on, right there. And that's about, not quite a half an inch. So maybe a half inch for the total height has to go that direction away from the foundation. Let's check this one. That one is off the other direction. So if I pull that, that's not much though. That's only about, it's only about a quarter inch. So this one has to go this way. That one has to go that way. And if I measure this direction, that's good there. This one looks like it's tilted, and it sure is. Check it out. That's about another half inch difference right there. Luckily, this one has to go that way because there's a bunch of dirt on that side of the footing. Oh, you see that? I can budge that just a little bit. Okay, well, that's a good sign. If you want to hold this, I'll put dirt under there. I'll do it. I thought about nudging that with the tractor, holding the bucket over it, pulling it just a little bit. But with just me here doing this, I think there's too much room for error. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go get the come along and hook it up to the tractor and pull that column over to where it needs to be. And then I'll tamp dirt under there and figure it out. There it is. That's right. I'm only concerned with this angle right now. Oh, felt like it was moving. All right, my 4-foot level won't fit here right now because of this chain. I have to go get my 2-footer. Okay, have my 2-foot level. You want to hear a funny story? I've had this level for about 25 years, maybe even more. Actually, about 27 years. This is the first time I've ever used it. Call me nutty. This was given to me as a gift. Sorry, Karen, this was an ex-girlfriend who gave this to me. And I had one at the time. I didn't feel like I needed to use it right away. I can't find my other one right now. So this is a perfect time to use it. So there you go. Okay, just a little bit more. Okay, that is perfectly plumb right now. I'm gonna give it an extra click because I know it'll settle even after I tamp that ground under there, that dirt under there. Okay, that is good. Let's go ahead and tamp that one in, get that plumbed up, and put a bunch of dirt around there and make it solid. That way I'll anchor the bottom of that one and be able to pull the top of this that way. That's perfect. I'm gonna check one thing. 73 and an eighth. 73 and an eighth. I think that's close enough. You see that second one peeking out. It is plumb. Check this out. That's looking good. Let's go a little farther, tamp it down, and we should be good to go. I did this a few days ago, but as you can see, it needs it again. I want to make sure this transition between the stem wall and the footing at that cold joint, I want to make sure that's clean, because that's one of the most important pieces of this puzzle. So I'm quickly going to go around, make sure this is all clean. Sometimes I feel like I'm just going to blow it. So I will. No, they're not sponsoring me, but I really like this blower. It has a little cruise control here. You could just set it and forget it. Wait, am I supposed to say that? So, look at that. So you set this thing right next to you. Have a fan going. I like it. Very powerful. So let's just real quickly dust this corner off down here. Like I mentioned, this is probably the most important part of the whole process, is getting this cold joint. So I'm just going to run around this real quick, blow the dust off. Any dust removal is good. It's just going to help that stuff adhere. What stuff? We'll get to that in a second. Okay, I have my painting shoes and my painting shirt on, so I'm ready to go. But there's one more thing we have to do before we start applying this sealer. So what is this sealer? This sealer is Henry's 107, and it is the only thing available in the United States for foundations. Okay, I'm joking, obviously. There's 1,000 products out there, so don't tell me you're using the wrong product, Patrick. Well, okay, you can tell me. Go ahead. I guess it's good to hear the comments. I did my homework. I studied up on this stuff, and it is specifically for this task. And it's also, you can use it for flat roofs and things like that that you want to waterproof. But this is made specifically for the exterior of a foundation. It is waterproof in its final coat, so you always want to make sure you don't nick up that final coat with sharp rocks, etc. So you can put this on a multitude of ways. You can spray it on, which I don't know how thick this stuff is. I do have a roller handy, and I have a brush handy, and I actually have a paint brush handy. If the consistency is okay, I'll put this into a smaller container just so I can, by hand, get down here with the brush. I think that'll be faster than anything just to take care of this corner. But before we get there, they recommend that this surface be damp. So I'm going to take the sprayer and lightly mist the outside of this perimeter, or at least where I want to get it sealed. So let's mist this water on real lightly, get this damp, and then we can get going with that stuff. And you can always watch this episode again in case you missed it. That should work just fine. A few episodes ago, we talked about the stuff I had to do on the dry erase board. One of them was snapping a line to see where this stuff ended up on this wall. But we really don't have to do this. Code requires 24 inches of cover, and this right here is 24 inches from the footing. So this is more than enough, this line right here. So my objective is to get it up to this line, cover the holes left by the snap ties, and we should be good to go. But I'm only gonna, that was a marmot you heard chirping back there. But I'm only gonna go this high on these two sides. First thing I'm gonna do is see if I can get some of this stuff into this cup right here. And I'm just gonna walk around with a paintbrush and get this very bottom corner. Second step is to roll this on up to here on these two sides. And then what I have left over, I'll just work my way around. Actually, I bought 10 gallons. I really don't want to use more than 5. So that's my goal. We'll see how it happens. So let's open up this can and see what it looks like. There it is. Looks like there's a skin on top or something like that. So let's stir that up. very weird texture. It's not exactly like tar. It's kind of like old paint that has been sitting in your garage for 20 years. I think that'll paint on. I think we can get some of this into here without a disaster happening. Oh boy. Ah, not too bad. Let's see what happens. Okay, this will work good for this purpose. All of that bottom corner, that cold joint is finished up. Well, at least on these two sides. I did go around the corner a little bit on each end over here. But before I do that cold joint all the way around, I want to roll this because that's the most important part. So I'm just going to take a roller, stick it in the bucket. I know that roller frame is going to be history after this, but it is what it is. That rolls on pretty nicely. Okay, I have these two sides finished up to there. Check it out. And I have about half of that bucket left. And that bucket is like, I think 4.75 gallons. We are back at it today, finished this up last night. Well, you saw it. I couldn't have asked for it to work out any better. That 5-gallon or 4.75 gallon bucket, it had about a cup maybe left when I was all said and done. Finished it over on the high side. I got at least as high as I wanted to, which is perfect. And what you saw at the very end was me putting 2 coats, the second coat, right on that cold joint right there. The 2 most important sides. Last thing I'd like to do in this episode is get this trench fabric filter on top of this rock. What I'm going to do is tape this about right here so that the bottom of it drapes over this cold joint. And then I'm going to pack in some more gravel, have it right there, stole it from the driveway. And I'll put some of that gravel on top of this fabric. So that fabric almost acts as a cushion, if you will, in this corner. And then I'll take this fabric and drape it over this gravel right here. These rolls are 75 feet long, which is perfect because I have 40 feet right here, 32 feet right here. Couldn't ask for anything better. By the time I make my overlap in the corner, I'll be good to go. Okay, that'll be perfect. That'll cover that footing nicely if I tape it up anywhere right above this line. Now I'm just going to fold this down, make sure that trench is covered up, or that pipe is covered up. And by the way, this is different than landscape fabric. This is certainly a finer mesh. Okay, at this point, this is ready for backfill. Do you remember that show a couple decades ago where they'd have about 500 people build an entire house in a week? Well, this is exactly the opposite of that. Come back next week. The struggle will continue. Take care of yourself.